I'm going to show you how you can buy worms and save money, and at the same time making your life better, making your yard a more beautiful place, and having a better ecosystem for the animals and the native creatures that are already living around you, and you're going to help them, give them a home. So to start out, of course, you should either get you some plant starts or some seeds, and you want to put them out into the garden and give them the best treatment and care that you can. And in our experience, the way to treat a plant to the best that you can is with worm castings. And that's with worm castings that you started about 3 months ago. So I know it's June right now, or whenever you're watching it, it doesn't really matter what time of the year it is. So, and by 3 months ago, I mean to start your bin and to start putting food scraps in there, which will then break down into the dirt. And watch out for spiders. If y'all seen that spider run across the cabbage, but spiders are doing their things too that are there to help. So not all spiders are bad as long as they're not on you. That's pretty good. So just kind of watch out for spiders and stuff around this time of year. And back to making the dirt, you want to just save your food scraps up if you haven't got vermicomposting yet, and maybe freeze them, and that way you could have a nice stockpile before you order. And then once you get your worm bin set up 2 to 3 weeks prior from ordering off our website, you would then have your food scraps ready and your worm bed prepared to then put those food scraps in. That way you can get to harvesting cabbage and cucumbers and all the good stuff that you can't even find in a store. And then that way next year you'll have those food scraps from the cucumbers and stuff that you don't eat, because not every vegetable is going to be perfect. So you could then compost those and have a self-sustaining system to where the garden feeds the compost and the compost feeds the garden. And in our experience, that's the way to garden. And if you try to do it any other way, you're going to lose money. You're going to waste a lot of money, waste a lot of time and effort, water, everything. So we always recommend worm castings, and, to grow them in a natural way, like how Mother Nature intended, which is to recycle. And then by doing that, you're going to make the soil healthier, and then your plants are going to be healthier and more nutritious, which in return is going to make you a more healthier person. So we're going to save money on compost, and then we're also going to save money on buying fruits, vegetables, and herbs, and even stuff like apple trees and stuff, and peach trees if you did have those, which I would recommend because the flavor is insane on a homegrown peach and apples. So you're going to be saving money there. Also, you're going to be saving money from, buying stuff like feed for your compost, where your garden will then feed your compost. So you're saving money that way. And then also you're saving wear and tear on your vehicle from going to the store and back. So also, once you put out worm castings into your garden, it's going to conserve on your water bill, and not a whole lot, but it's going to be better than just your native soil. And so by saving your food scraps up, you're also saving money on, if you have to go to a landfill yourself, you're saving money there. And you're also turning what would have been trash into what we consider treasure, which is the finest black dirt that money can't really buy, which is worm castings. And, while you're doing that, you also could potentially save money on going out and doing something that would cost a lot of money. And, not that having a garden would save you money on a vacation, but if you're having a really good time in the garden like we do, you probably won't go on vacation as much or go out and do something where, you're having fun just looking at the pretty vegetables and the birds and the bees. So, and on top, speaking of birds and bees, if you grew sunflowers, you would then you could then save those seeds and even save money on your bird seed. So tons of benefits with using worms, and at the same time you're also getting something to do that's pretty cheap, which is checking your worm bin, and that's something to do that's pretty much free. So on top of all of that, you could also be saving money on making your own fertilizer with worm tea, and instead of buying some type of chemical fertilizer, which is no good, which is tons of bad stuff with that. And also you could save money on making your own DIY potting mix, which in our experience is going to be better than anything you can buy at a regular store, because you know exactly what's in it on the whole way through, and so you can feel good about eating it instead of guilty like you do on some stuff. Also, if you like to fish or go fishing, or if you know somebody that likes to fish, you could save yourself or them money on bait worms, which are pretty expensive, and the ones you get at the store, most of the time they're if they're even moving when you open them up, they're not going to last once you get out on the water for a few hours, so you're going to be getting a better quality worm for your fishing trips. So with all that being said, I would just like to get the point home to you guys that vermicomposting is the most rewarding hobby I've ever found, and also one of the better things for the environment that you could do for a hobby. And so with all that being said, we'll get back to the garden, and we've showed y'all a lot of purple vegetables, and there's a lot of benefits with the purple color, and also the flavor is more robust than a regular pepper. So we've been eating extremely good, better than we ever even imagined that we would be able to eat, based off of using these castings. And some of the most beautiful flowers you've ever seen, and just a true blessing to be able to show all this and then to get to share it with you guys. It's been just a total game changer for our lives. And then we also grow our own herbs like basil and stuff, and you get the free smells, and it's just like kid in a candy store every day when we get to go out through our garden, and we know exactly what went into the compost that then made the flowers. And then you also get to make stuff like bumblebees extremely happy. And as you can see, he's got big balls of pollen on his body, and the pollen that they collect on their sides then goes back to the hive to help the bees. So you're saving tons of stuff in the ecosystem, and while at the same time you're getting to look at the most beautiful flowers that you've never even seen before. And just all in all, a total game changer for yourself. And when we first started vermicomposting, there was not a lot out there on if the castings really worked, and we're here to tell you that they really work, and you can grow any vegetable that you want, or any tree, or any plant for that matter. And we haven't found one seed that did not absolutely flourish with the castings and our potting mix that we make. So if you were on the fence, it is absolutely the best thing we've ever spent money on. And we're even growing corn organically, all natural, with no pesticides in our garden. And I've never really seen corn that looks this good that's grown with castings, and I've also never seen bees pollinate the corn like this. And so if you guys have ever seen that, let me know. But maybe our bees are just really liking the different varieties of corn pollen that they can get, and even the honeybees get in on the action with the squash plants, or the squash flowers. And so we also are growing peaches, and the peaches, the flavor is off the charts on these guys, and we just mound up as much castings as we can spare for them and keep them watered and make sure they don't wilt. And that's about all you got to do for a peach tree, and it is a true beauty to see. even going back to like January, February when they first throw their peach flowers. It's truly amazing. So you guys are absolutely not going to believe who came to visit us in the garden. And it absolutely blew my mind. I never thought I'd see this, but it was a dang turtle came walking up through the garden. So with all that being said, I do believe all the worms and the worm castings did draw him up into the garden, and turtles eat worms, so could have been a nice benefit for both us and the turtle. So with all that being said, you guys are legends for staying till the end, and this turtle is as well. And we sell live worms, potting mix, and everything you need to get your compost going better and your garden growing better, to then maybe see a turtle and to have beautiful plants in your yard while also being healthier and taking care of the ecosystem that's already around you and giving them a nice home and habitat so that they can thrive and so you can also thrive.